Pairing wine, fine wine, and a burger. Can it be done? That's today's question. Guitar freaks and anoraks, lovers of the fine wine and the better burger. Thanks for tuning in and welcome to HilkoCuisine. People. What a week again. America. There's a lot of stuff going on there with the elections, but we're not here to talk about politics. We are here to talk Americans' number one food, burgers. Now, normally with a burger, you drink a beer. Personally, I think the beers in America are quite different, let's say, because I'm a Belgian waffle and we are famous. We are very famous with our beers. Now, I'm not one to drink beer with a burger this week. I wanted to drink fine wine. Why? Well, every week I'm visiting my local wine shop. And my nephew, my cousin, he's selling products there, very nice products. He's a top chef. And he started talking to me about burgers and wine. He read this article that there is one typical wine which would be perfect with a burger. Patrick, the owner of the wine shop, he confirmed this. So what they basically did was sold me a bottle of wine that I would never bought without their input. But I'm very glad I did it because this wine is a perfect match with a burger, a beef burger. Now, which wine are we talking about, people? Well, it's this wine. What wine? Well, it's a wine from Alessandro. I don't know Alessandro, but I presume he's Italian because it stays there from Sicilia. Sicilian wine. The grape? Well, the grape is the Nero d'Avola. The Nero d'Avola is the most common grape that they use in Sicilian wine. It's a beautiful wine. Apparently, this wine won the best wine from the region in 2019. And this article, that a very fine lady, I can't remember her name, but if I find it, I will leave a link down below. This lady wrote an article about this wine pairing with burgers. Can it be done? And yes, it can be done. I tasted it. I cooked up a burger. I tasted it with this wine and it's incredible, people. It blew me away. Now, where can you get this wine? Well, in Belgium. In Belgium you can get it, but I presume you can get this wine all over the world. I will look it up, and if I find any links where you can buy them, I will leave them here below. People, don't think I'm getting paid to promote this wine or whatever they're selling at this shop I was talking about. They're not. I'm paying for everything I buy there. I just want to share the goodness that they're selling. And I'm convinced you're gonna like it too. So, people, are we ready to run off to the kitchen? I think so. Let's do this. Let's cook it up. And here we are, people, in my kitchen again. I'm just finishing off chopping up the last onion. First, you peel the onion, you cut them in half, and then you slice them up lengthwise. I think that's the best way to make this burger, people. But you can do it however you like. This is your party. Once you're finished with the good old choppy chop thing, you move the onion over to a very nice looking plate right next to some tomatoes, which I'm not gonna use. But anyhow, let's talk about beef. This is 100% ground beef. I think it's a 30-70 mix. So 30% fat, 70% meat. It's Hereford, grown and raised locally. I'm a strong believer in buying local. Local is always better. You slice open that package of beef. It's like 500 grams. And you separate it into 3 pieces. First, I mark it. Then I cut it into 3 pieces. Now, very important is that we're not gonna knead this meat. We're not gonna spice it up. We're not gonna season it. We're just cutting it in 3 pieces. Later, we will add some magic. If you want to cook up a special gourmet burger, you don't fluff about with it. Very important. You want some structure, and the best structure is when you're not messing about with it. Next up are the buns. I'm using 3 buns because I'm gonna make 3 hamburgers. I baked these buns myself. If you want to know this recipe, you can find it down below. I will leave a link, people. Now, you cut them open, all 3, and you take some butter. Some butter you took out of the fridge a while ago, so it's nice and soft. And you butter all sides of these buns. You grease them up real good. The reason we are doing this is because we're gonna toast them. Toasting them will make them a lot better. Believe me, you must be very tired with all that hard previous work. So it's time for some fine wine. This wine is some Sicilian wine. Be careful with it. Those Sicilians can be very dangerous. The grape used to produce this beautiful, beautiful wine is the Nero d'Avola. The Nero d'Avola is the most common grape on Sicily. Believe me, people. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think so. I know quite a lot about Sicilian fine wine. But anyhow, let's stop ranting and talk about this wine. It's a deep red colored wine. It's a beautiful wine. It's an amazing wine. You have to taste this wine. You can use it not only with a burger. Well, not use it, drink it with the burger. You can match it up with some fresh tuna. The dark fruits you will definitely recognize in this wine. The aromas of herbs and hints of chocolate makes it a perfect match with some vitello tonnato. I would say it's not a full-bodied wine, but it's very elegant and a perfect match with a burger. A very important thing that you have to do after you open this wine is pour a small glass. And then don't touch it. Don't touch it for 20 minutes to half an hour. Let the wine breathe a bit. It was locked in there, in that bottle, and it will treat you well. When you do this, people, it will respect you more. Give it some time to open up. Right, time to go back and cook a bit. You preheat the cast iron cooking plate. I'm using cast iron because I love it. You preheat it for about 5 minutes. Then you add some butter. After the butter is melting, well, you add those onions, people. Those lazy onions were partying with those tomatoes in that pretty plate. They were showing off. They were talking bullshit. And now it's time to separate them because we don't want to have any crazy, dodgy flavors in those onions. Now, with the help of our crazy guitar-shaped wooden spoon, we're gonna start softening up those onions and browning them a bit. They don't have to be like dark brown, deep brown. We just want to get them going. Once they're like halfway there, you move them over to the other end of the hot plate. That end is less hot. That's on medium heat. Very important. Now we made some space to toast those buns, people. Why are we toasting buns? Well, it's very simple. You get a very crunchy, unpenetratable side there. Well, it is penetratable, but the juices of the burger will not penetrate that spongy yumminess of that bun that easy. That's why we are toasting them up. Now keep an eye on them. They can burn really fast. So keep an eye on them. Once they're ready, you move them over, you wiggle those onions around, and then you add some olive oil. You add some olive oil to that hot plate. Then you take a piece of beef that you pre-shaped on a parchment paper and you lay that on top of the hot plate. You pat it down a bit, like a comfort pat, like you're gonna do very well, piece of beef. Thank you so much. Now remember, we did not season that beef, so we have to add some HilkoCuisine hot salt premier cru right now. Be generous with it, because that beef can handle a lot of salt, and it will love it, and you will love it. After the salt, we take some demon tears. Demon tears are a fermented hot sauce that I make, and it's beautiful. It will bring out an amazing peppery flavor. It's very important that you don't mess about with this patty, people. You let it go till the sides are nice and brown, and then it's time to take your spatula and turn this patty over, people. You will see it's nice and crusted up. That's what we like in this burger. A nicely crusted yumminess. Once you see that crust, you want to say goodbye to it. And you do that by taking some blue cheese. Yes, blue cheese, people. I know it's not your average cheese, but believe me, on a haute cuisine gourmet burger, You need a special cheese. Now, that cheese, you want to cover it. You want to lay a blanket of that nice caramelized onion over it. So it's nice and cozy. You pat that down a bit and you let it go. You let that cheese melt. You take your buns, you heat them up. And meanwhile, the other side is crusting up and the cheese is melting. You let that fiery heat do its thing for about 2 minutes. And 2 minutes later, it's time to assemble our burger, people. Not the average burger, a gourmet burger, to say hello, gourmet burger too. So you take a plate, you put on the bottom side of the bun. Then you grab that patty covered with the cheese and the blanket of onion. You put that on top of the bottom side of the patty. And don't forget those last pieces of onion, people. Then you take the plate over to our work surface where we're gonna assemble this beautiful, beautiful burger. What we need to add is very easy. These are some gherkins that I sliced up lengthwise. They will add some acidity and they will counter that fat very nicely. That's their job here, people. Then you take some HilkoCuisine spicy barbecue sauce. It's not only made to barbecue with, but it's perfect match with a burger and many other things, but I will talk about that in future videos. To finish off this burger, we need some lettuce. This is organic grown lettuce, very nice lettuce. And then the crown of the burger goes on top. People, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video with this fine wine and crazy burger. If you cook it up, use the hashtag GuitarMakersFood and let us know. For now, bye bye. I'll hope to see you next week. Ciao.